Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to North Sydney, Nova Scotia for tonight's Under 15 Nova Scotia Major Hockey League matchup between the Halifax Wolverines and the host Joneljim Cougars. My name is Luke Diamond. You're here on the High Button Sports here this evening. We're so glad that you could tune in for the first of back-to-back games here this weekend in Cape Breton between these two sides. It's going to be their final two meetings of the regular season here. The first time these teams played was all the way back on October 25th. The Wolverines won that game handily by a 5-0 score. And one player to watch tonight on that Wolverines team on the road is Felix McDonald. McDonald is second in the league in goals scored. He's one short of 20 on the campaign. He has 19 in 16 games played. Only two players in the league have more goals than McDonald here this season. Arguably two of the best players this season from other teams, including Bowen Cranston of the undefeated in regulation Gulls of Upper Tantallon, and Cohen Little as well, the offensive leader for the Wherewell Bombers of New Glasgow. And the Wolverines are coming in on a tear this evening. They go into this game with 6 consecutive wins, dating all the way back to December 5th. They have not lost a game in any fashion in pretty near a month, so a month minus 2 days. And this is their first game of the new year, of the new calendar year, that is, 2026. Most recently, they beat Martello 4-1 on December 19th before the Christmas break. And then the Novas, who they are chasing in the standings, whom they trail by 5 points, they defeated them 5-4. Those last two games for the Wolverines were home games. They're based out of the Halifax Forum. But they are back on the road here for the first time in a little bit, and they have not been the strongest on the road, at least compared to their home record. They're 11-5 on the season. That's good for 4th place in the Nova Scotia Under 15 Major Hockey League. But on the road, they're only 3-5 this year. 3 wins, 5 losses, and they have dropped 3 of the last 4 away from the Halifax Forum. But as for the Joneljim Cougars, they are riding a bit of a slump themselves as they try to get a new year, new me going here at home. They have lost 2 straight, with their last game being a 6-0 slashing at the hands of the Novas on December 21st. That was their last game. But they've lost 6 of their last 9 games. They've struggled since losing one of their top scorers, Cohen Geezer, to a suspension all the way back in November. Now, he only has 2 more games left to serve. He's expected to rejoin the team at the East Coast Ice Jam here starting on Wednesday in Bedford. But the Cougars have 2 more games to play without one of their top scorers here, and they face a very challenging matchup this week with a doubleheader here at home against the strong Wolverines team as we throw it down to the ice here for the national anthem. The Joneljim Cougars have earned points in 6 of 8 home games here this season, including their last 2 games here at the Emera Center Northside, which they won, beating the Harbor Rage of Cole Harbour in consecutive games on the weekend of December 13th and 14th here a few weeks ago. They will need that home record to hold up tight tonight if they want to keep up with the surging Halifax Wolverines, as we meet our starting goalies here this evening. Starting for the visitors, Tayden Ye. He is 6-2 on the season, including a .287 goals against average. His .903 save percentage is 6th best league-wide. And for the home side, Rhineland Landry is in net, while he is statistically the stronger goalie here this season in terms of goals against and save percentage. He has only won 2 games in 9 appearances here this year, as he tries to turn that around with his team this evening in North Sydney as we get underway. The host Cougars are in the white uniforms to your left, and the Wolverines in the black uniforms to your right, as Halifax broke right into the zone there early on to begin this game, as they established some early zone possession going on here. Here with the puck now was Lucas Wyan dumping that in, playing the point, wearing number 9 for the Wolverines on the point. Halifax got it in down low, but it is shot on up the boards and back and forth between a pair of Cougars players, and we're going to get a penalty. Looks like Sam Graves, the Cougars captain, is going to be guilty for that one. It's an interference call. He got tied up with a Wolverines forechecker there as Liam Lateria of Halifax went down to the ice. And only 45 seconds into this hockey game, we're going to see the first power play of the night. And it will go to the Halifax Wolverines. And they got some lethal scores on this Wolverines team. Jack Shearer leading the squad with 30 points in 16 games. That's good for 6th in league scoring. But the Cougars win the face-off and shoot it down 200 feet as the Wolverines get back. Avery Gauthier wearing number 12 for Halifax. He is quarterbacking the Wolverines power play here. The first unit is joined out there by Max Kopech. Taking that up the ice is Luke Williams. Williams breaks into the zone. He's flanked by Kopech and behind him. Williams takes his time. He is closely pressured there by Vinny Sims, the Cougars defender. And is back to the line for Jack Shearer. That's the guy you want to watch if you're the Cougars. Shearer, as mentioned, leading the league in scoring out there with Kopech. Kopech had it for a moment. Now it's down for Jared Conlon, the Wolverines captain. Shearer makes a move and a spin, leaves it off for Conlon. Luke Williams back at the point is cross for Reese Sim, the other defenseman out there, in the clearing attempt from the Cougars as they gain possession of the puck after a block shot. Goes flying into their own bench, so they get a break in action, but will have to bear down on this face-off down here in their own zone. With 55 seconds left in this early first period, penalty to Sam Graves of the Cougars. No scoring yet. We're just barely 2 minutes into the hockey game here. It goes over to Reese Sim. He lets a knuckle puck go from the point, but it's past the short side and wide of the net. It's held at the line by Ripley. A good play there, and he gets it down for Kopech. Kopech makes a move to the net. The backhand! He slid it right through the crease, and it didn't go in. What an opportunity for the third lead scorer in this team. But they're not done. He crashes right on the net, and Kopech was lying on top of the goaltender Landry. Kopech jumped right back up as the puck was cleared, went flying right up into the stands where a number of hockey fans were waiting, but were ready for that one. And no harm, no foul on that one, except for a face-off back and down low for the Cougars, as the Wolverines were really getting a few great opportunities in down low that time. And they still got a little bit of breathing room left on this power play, 28 more seconds. In that interference minor to Sam Graves. Kopech still out there on the ice. He's joined out there behind the net by Jack Shearer. Parked in front of the net is the captain, Jared Conlon. And that goes up top for Reese Sim. Sim lets it go from the point, and that floats wide. And leaves lots of time for the penalty killer, Alex Boner, to make a move on it. He slides it in behind the net and over the other side, and possession is regained by the Wolverines. But Sam Graves steps out of the box, so we're back to 5-on-5 action. The Wolverines had a few scoring opportunities there thanks mostly to Max Kopech, who charged the net a couple of times, but couldn't beat the goaltender Rylan Landry, as the Cougars, trying to turn this thing around after an early game penalty kill, will go offside, so the face-off will take place on the near side here near the Wolverines penalty box, over to the lower right of your screen. Taking that face-off and winning it for the Joneljim Cougars, that's Kellen Buckley out there on the line tonight with Zenon Parks and Ethan Marsh. But the Wolverines are quick to take it out. Played up along the boards and right around center ice. Vinny Sims of the Cougars will play it as he takes a body check from a Wolverines forward, and now a bit of a scrum ensues. A couple of hits are traded in front of the Wolverines bench. Sam Graves out for his second shift of the game. He took a penalty on his first. Ethan Marsh is first to it on the forecheck. Goes over to Zenon Parks. Parks is third on the team. He has 13 points in 16 games this year for the Joneljim Cougars. Second amongst players in the lineup tonight, even though he has missed several games. Cohen Geezer is still second on the team in scoring. He has 13 points in 9 games played. The leading scorer on this team is Graves, the captain. 17 points in 16 games here. As stepping up over the line is Lachlan O'Neill, the big forward for Joneljim. Takes it in, but is knocked off the puck here by the Wolverines. But O'Neill got the puck back after a good check in there south of the goal line. And a couple of whacks at it. And here comes Liam Lateria for the Wolverines. And snapping that up with the mitt is Rylan Landry. A big save as it will force the face-off here down to the right of the Cougars goaltender. We've seen chances like this early and often in this game by the Wolverines. Halifax, as mentioned, has been on a roll. They have won 6 consecutive games and are 5 points out of second place here in the league. Right now they sit in 4th. 31 points on the campaign. As Harpel walks in for the Wolverines, and another good look for the Halifax forwards. Leo Harpel that time had all day and all night to walk in on Rylan Landry, as the Cougars have really been leaving some glaring holes for Halifax to exploit here on the last couple of shifts following that power play. And they'll force another face-off down in the Cougar zone. As we're just about 5 minutes in the hockey game, still no score between the Wolverines and the Cougars. Face-off is won by Halifax, back to Reese Sim. Sim receives a pass back from his defenseman and dumps it deep for Shearer. Shearer had the puck for a second, lost it, and back to his defenseman as a foot race ensues for possession in the corner. Knocking him back is Conlon, the Wolverines captain, as it's played on off for Marty McLeod of the Cougars, who's trying to force that all the way up. He's successful in getting it to center ice, but there is a penalty. The official behind the play is going to make a call. It's an interference, and this time it appears to be going to a member of the Halifax Wolverines, and it is Jared Conlon. Will go to the box for 2 minutes or less for the visitors, and for the first time tonight, the host Cougars will get a look on the 5-on-4 advantage. Ty Timmons is in to take the face-off for the Cougars, who were on the power play. He won it, but a little too cleanly, and Joneljim will have to reset all the way back at their own blue line. Taking that in is Linus Braun. Braun secures the entry, gets it down for his D partner Sam Graves, but they don't hold it in the zone for long as the Wolverines penalty killers shoot it down the ice, and will go for a change. Braun will play it out for Sam Graves. Graves, he likes to skate with the puck. Him and Braun both do. One of the strengths of this Cougars team. As going for the check was Dylan Barry. He poked away at it with the stick and took a heavy hit there from a Wolverines penalty killer. It was Jack Shearer throwing a massive hit, as both teams will go for a change here. There was a neck guard laying there at center ice, if you were wondering what that black object was in the middle of the ice, as a big hit is thrown there. A counter hit by Marty McLeod, but he loses the puck to Jacob Parker. Shot out front, great chance for the penalty killers, and a huge save by Rylan Landry. He denies the Wolverines attackers there. It was a great chance for Lachlan McKay, wearing number 44 in the Wolverines uniform. Set up beautifully by Jacob Parker, who stole the puck from Marty McLeod of Joneljim. But Landry comes up big again. That's his sixth save here of the evening here, 6 minutes into the game. The Wolverines out shooting the host Cougars by a 6-0 tally right now. 48 seconds left on this Wolverines penalty as the Cougars look to get something going. Maybe establish a zone entry and go from there. It's dumped into the zone by Ethan Marsh. It'll go around all the way to the other side of the boards as his second unit power play comes out for the Cougars. Kellen Buckley playing back and forth there with a Wolverines killer. Buckley goes all the way to the line and Marty McLeod will walk in. He sees some room to shoot, but his wrister is high and wide of the net and it rolls all the way back out in front of the Cougars bench. It's a quick break in here for Joneljim though, as it's played up out front, and that's padded aside by Taden Ye. Ye's had a quiet first period so far, as shots like that mostly missing the net from the Cougars. That was his first shot on goal here, stopped this evening, as Jared Conlon will step out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5, but Marty McLeod shoots one, and that is off the hand of Avery Gauthier, the defenseman for Halifax. He didn't seem too shaken up by it as the puck rolled wide, and now Halifax can try and settle it down and get back on the attack the other way like they have been for most of the period so far. As a nice move by Austin Rutledge. The defenseman steps in, and it is covered up again by Landry as Rutledge dangled on in there on the one-on-one opportunity, but he will cut his team a break and force the face-off just to his right here in the Cougars zone. Both teams successful on each of their early first period penalty kills. Both teams' captains going off for interference penalties. First the Cougars and then the Wolverines. But no harm done on either side as the game remains scoreless, as it got lost in the feet of Sim, but just as a Cougars player was breaking away with the puck, a call was made behind the play. There was a couple of collisions over toward the Cougars bench. It's a head contact penalty, and it appears to be going to Jack Ripley of the Wolverines. And just as soon as they kill off one penalty, they will have to endure another, as the Cougars will go to the power play, and the scoreboard is showing 4 minutes, so it's a double minor head contact penalty charged to Jack Ripley, the defenseman, who's also being used here by the Wolverines on their penalty kill. So now Halifax is in for a big kill here, and what an opportunity for the Cougars to try and register the first goal of this game, if not at least a few scoring chances, as a player is tied up along the boards. Conlon tied him up over to Graves. He has room to shoot. It's off a body and wide. It might have hit Taden Ye on the way through, but the Wolverines secure possession and shoot it the length of the ice, and the penalty killers will change up. As mentioned, a double minor power play here for the Cougars. They got one shot in so far on this opportunity from Sam Graves. Graves, the defenseman, the captain, drops off for Linus Braun. Braun over to the far side. Great shot there by Dylan Barry. Tried to get through a crowd. Rebound, scores! And the Cougars slip it through the legs of Taden Ye for the first goal of the hockey game. It's 1-0 Joneljim. And cleaning up the mess in front of the net, that's Avery Johnston for the Cougars. A big power play goal here, and the power play's not over yet, as it was a double minor penalty. They were only 50 seconds into that head contact penalty from Jack Ripley of the Wolverines. But the first goal of the game goes to the Cougars. Avery Johnston with that one. It's his 5th of the season, as it's dumped in by Marty McLeod. As the Cougars are quick to get set up, they seem to be getting a hang of things here. After that first goal went into the net, were set up there for a second, but was eventually dumped down the ice slowly by the Halifax Wolverines. And Joneljim will set up to bring it back the other way. Avery Johnston with that last goal, as it's forced into the zone by Kellen Buckley. Buckley in pursuit of it. He's right on the back of Reese Sim, the defenseman for the Wolverines, as a shot from the point comes off the stick of Dylan Dixon, the defender, but Tayden Ye scoops it up for the save. The face-off will be to his right. With 5:43 left in the first period, just moments ago, Avery Johnston cleaning up a rebound in front of the Wolverines net for the first goal of the hockey game. The Cougars leading by a 1-0 score, and that's a big face-off win there on the penalty kill for Jacob Parker, but goes right back to the Cougars. Graves lets it go, looking for the tip in front. Johnson's right back out there. So is Graves, and parked in front of the net too is Ty Timmins. Johnson way out front, and Timmins had a shot there from a very tight angle, but Graves doing a lot of the quarterbacking of this power play from behind the net rather than at the point. Linus Braun is up there at the point, out there with Dylan Barry. Barry tried to let that shot go. It went off a leg over the corner as Barry and Johnston play catch back and forth. Graves lets it go. Looked like Ye was screened a little bit, but the shot went wide, so no harm done. 25 seconds left in this power play for the Cougars, and the Wolverines are just barely able to get it out. That was a good push there by Austin Rutledge, the penalty killer, to get it across the blue line, and now it is shot down the length of the ice. And some very tired penalty killers there for the Wolverines finally get off as the Cougars will take it back the other way. They have 3 seconds left on this penalty with Ripley just now stepping out of the box. The Wolverines kill off the second half of that one, of that double minor. Marty McLeod takes it along the close side there. A hard shot along the ice that is steered aside by Ye easily. Zenon Parks is first to that puck. Thought there was somebody out front, but instead it's right onto the tape of Liam Lateria. And Lateria will get it up for Shearer. Rather, that's Fisher Schneer. Schneer tried to get it back out front. He's joined out there by Lachlan McKay. A big, heavy forward line for this Halifax Wolverines team, stepping up, trying to change the tone here after killing off those penalties to try and get that first goal of the game here for the visitors. They score a lot. They have the 5th most goals in the league. They've scored 70 times this season, especially a lot in this 6-game winning streak, dating back pretty near a month for the Wolverines, which has been fueling their surge up the standings as Ryland Landry covers it up in behind his net. Some extra whistles in there behind the goal cage. Doesn't look like much more is coming out of that though, so the face-off will be to the left of the goaltender as the Cougars, along with their first goal of the hockey game from Avery Johnston, have poured on the shots. Halifax had first come out leading the shot total in the first 6 minutes of this game, 6-0. But now, Joneljim is leading in that department by an 8-7 margin. Still another 3 minutes and 23 seconds to play here in the period. And for anyone who doesn't know, in this league, the first period is 15 minutes long, while the second and third periods are 20 minutes long. And because of that shorter first period, the teams do not take a break for a flood between the first and second periods. They keep playing, but the Zamboni does come off onto the ice between the second and the third frames. As the Cougars, or rather the Wolverines, establish some possession in the Cougar zone. It's finally gotten out, but right back in with it is Max Kopech along the close side boards for Halifax. Good move there and a good skate. Pass up the boards by Ethan Marsh. His intended target was Wyatt Wilson, but the Cougars ice the puck as the pass was errant in behind Wilson. So the face-off will come all the way back down, and I think it's safe to say most of the face-offs in this period have been in the Cougar zone, especially in the first 6, 7, 8 minutes of this game. And the last few stoppages of play have been the same as the Wolverines gain possession of the puck beyond the net. That's Leo Harpel, who's pinned along the boards there by Sam Graves. Bit of a scrum there, but the Cougars come out with it. They'll get as far as their own blue line, get it out of the zone, but there's some tired forwards there after that icing. So it has gotten off to the Wolverines, who will break out the other way. Moving the puck pretty fast there, but it's broken up there by the goal scorer, Avery Johnston. Halifax has to try again. It's up along the boards, and that is out of the reach of everybody, and it's another icing call, this time against the Wolverines. And it comes all the way back down the other way with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left here in the opening frame. These teams will be back here tomorrow at the Emera Centre North Side in North Sydney. The Wolverines on this weekend road trip, the 4-hour trip to Cape Breton. They'll play here again tomorrow with a puck drop at 11:15. Tomorrow's game will be each team's final matchup before the annual East Coast Ice Jam in Bedford. These teams playing in a very packed and interesting U15 division, as it always is in such a big and acclaimed tournament that the Ice Jam is. They both start play on Wednesday. The Cougars play the Mid-Isle Matrix from Prince Edward Island on Wednesday night. Meanwhile, Halifax will play their Dartmouth rivals, the Whalers, on Wednesday afternoon as one of the opening games of the entire tournament. Both games will be at the Greenfoot Energy Centre in Bedford, the fourplex. As the Wolverines get a shot on net, the rebound comes right out. Oh, good opportunity there for Austin Rutledge, who is right on the doorstep of Rhineland Landry, but Landry makes another huge save, and we get a whistle. It's going to be a penalty. I think this one is going to the Wolverines, as they're just coming off a couple of big shifts after killing off their last penalty, but now they're going to have to kill off another one. It was Rutledge, who was oh so close to tying the game there moments ago, is guilty of a cross-checking penalty. So for the third time this period, I should say, the Cougars are back to the power play. They're 1 for 3 on their man advantage opportunities here this evening. The first and only goal coming off the stick of a Cougar as Sam Graves walked in on the back door there, almost took the pass and buried it to make it 2-0. As the Cougars get set up early, Graves tried to fool and make the shot down low for Avery Johnston. Johnston was the one who scored on that power play earlier on in the period for the Cougars. As it has gotten up, that was intended for Dylan Barry, waiting up along the far side half wall. Barry is over by the hash marks now and lets a low shot go. Look to hit the side of the cage there. You could hear it as possession has gotten on by Henry Berger, who failed to clear the zone for Halifax. A shot from distance from Barry. It looked to hit Ye in net and trickle wide, maybe his glove, as Ty Timmins secures it in behind the net for Joneljim, but he is tied up there by a Wolverine. Only 25 seconds left in the period, another minute in this penalty though. Dylan Barry walks in. There's immense pressure being put on here by the Cougars. Johnston knocks it down to Timmins, but Timmins couldn't keep a handle on it, and finally Jack Shearer gives the Wolverines some relief as the penalty killers will head for the bench. Only 5 seconds left in the period. Trying to fire it down the ice he thought about was Linus Braun, and as that crossed center ice, the buzzer goes here at Emera Centre North Side to denote the end of the first period in this hockey game. It's 1-0 for the host Cougars. Avery Johnston with his 5th goal of the season here. And that is all the first period wrote there, as we will be right back here for the second frame in just a moment. About to drop the puck here for the second period here on High Button Sports. 1-0 after the first period. Avery Johnston scoring for the Cougars. Joneljim still has another 35 seconds left on this most recent power play. Late in the first period, Austin Rutledge took a cross-checking minor for the Halifax Wolverines and is still sitting in the box. The Cougars power play has looked the best it has all night so far. The first couple of opportunities were shaky until the Johnston goal on the man advantage, and they've been set up on most of this one, but it's about to expire as Marty McLeod gains his own entry here for the Cougars, but immediately gives it away to the Wolverines as they shoot it down the length of the ice and get in a quick change to start the second frame here for the Wolverines as they look to get on the board with Rutledge jumping out of the box. A big kill for Halifax to follow up. Shots are 8-8 after one period of play. It's even as the Cougars establish some possession into the zone as Ty Timmins got the shot off from very tight coverage there in the Halifax Wolverines slot. But it was a good shoulder save. Taden Ye just barely got a piece of that. Come back the other way is Leo Harpel on the counterattack. He's drugged down the shot. It's gone on and digging at Rhineland Landry were a pair of Halifax Wolverines players. Harpel was right in there, as well as another one. Looks like Liam Lateria is the one who is laying down on the ice there after that flurry of action in front of Landry's net. But Landry has played a really strong game here so far this evening for the Cougars, making some crucial saves, and they haven't been easy ones either. A couple of them have come on odd man rushes and otherwise really strong scoring opportunities for the Wolverines. As the Cougars win the draw, it's rimmed around for Sam Graves. Graves seeing if he could hit Zenon Parks on the rush out the other way, but is kept in by Halifax. Trying to swing and get that shot off was Felix McDonald. McDonald has 19 goals on the year, tied for, or rather third in the league in scoring. It's walking in is Timmins. Timmins looking for Parks in front of the net, but it was knocked away. And back out the other way is Felix McDonald trying to get something going. Joined by Liam Lateria and Harpel rounding out that line for the Wolverines. Trying to handle that with Avery Gauthier, but he mishandled it. His defenseman, his D partner, had to come help him out. Henry Berger will bolt in on the close side wall. Dropping it back there for Felix McDonald at the end of a shift, and it's shot on net and out of the handle, and the referee lost sight of the puck and blew down the play. Henry Berger was right on top of the Cougars net and actually had the puck on his stick when the play was blown dead. Rhineland Landry was outstretched there as he attempted to control the rebound. It slipped out of his glove, but he got a lucky break there from the official there, so the face-off will come over to his right. But the Wolverines maintaining some good pressure here to start the period after the expiration of their last penalty. Looking right out front for the pass. That was intended for Jacob Parker. Parked out in the slot, but it went wide. The pass was missed, and the Wolverines have to come all the way back down and break into the Cougar zone again as Parker walks in, and a great glove save again by Landry. He has the Wolverines number here thus far in this game. That is his 11th save of the game. Only moments into this second period, 17:27 remaining in the middle frame here in North Sydney. No scoring yet this period, but a big Halifax Wolverines penalty kill. As Halifax wins the draw, shot from distance is scooped up by Landry again, and we'll redo the face-off. Coming off the stick of Reese Sim. As mentioned off the top of the broadcast, these teams playing 3 times this year in Nova Scotia Under-15 Major Hockey League regular season action. Last time they played was all the way back in October. That was at the Halifax Forum, in which the Wolverines came out with a 5-0 win. Their final meeting of the regular season is right here tomorrow morning at the Americenter North Side in North Sydney, as a pair of Wolverines defensemen set up and trade some passes under some heavy pressure as Jack Ripley Ripley pinned there to the boards by a good Cougars forecheck that goes back to Linus Braun. The defenseman for the Cougars will dump it in, but it goes right onto the stick of some Wolverines, and a cross-ice pass flies over to Jack Shearer. Shearer looking right to the net where Max Kopech was charging the goal crease. Shearer picks up his own rebound, but loses it. Helping him out there after a big hit is thrown there behind the boards by Kopech. Wolverines take it right back in. It was right as some Halifax players are changing. They might have escaped the too many men call there. Felix McDonald making a play, going in one-on-one against Braun. McDonald loses the puck, though. He gets some help from Lachlan O'Neill right up the middle and trying to make a move with it. Avery Johnston lets a snapper go. He scores! His second of the game. Avery Johnston with some appreciation from the home crowd here. Lets it fly over the glove of Tayden Ye. And a big second goal for the Joneljim Cougars to double their lead. Early in the second period, it is 2-0. It looked like Tayden Ye was screened by his defenseman on that one. Tough to tell for sure, of course, but it was a perfectly placed shot nonetheless by Avery Johnston. Not necessarily the fastest shot, but a floater that was placed in the right spot at the right time as we get a penalty called by the back official here. It's going to be a spearing call, and I believe the Cougars are the guilty party on this one. Typically, spearing calls are a bit more severe than your typical minor penalty, so we might be looking at a double minor. As we remember, there was a head contact penalty charged to the Wolverines in the first period, which was a double minor that led to the first goal of the game for the Joneljim Cougars. It's Ty Timmins that'll go to the box, and that is confirmed. It'll be a double minor charge to Ty Timmins of the Joneljim Cougars. And a big opportunity here early in the second period for the Wolverines to get back in this game. They've been neck and neck with the Cougars. The only difference is the Cougars have 2 goals to show for it. Avery Johnston with both of those markers for the home team, and Johnston is one of the penalty killers out here now for Joneljim. The shot goes and it hit the pipe. Wyand let that fly. It was right along the ice. The Wolverines were inches from taking that one, and swinging around, slapping at that was Reese Sim. But he loses it, and it is dumped down the ice there by Joneljim. They came inches from cutting that lead in half there and registering early on this lengthy power play for Halifax. The Wolverines had 1 power play opportunity here in the first minute of this hockey game. They didn't score on it, so this is their second opportunity of the game. Reese Sim quarterbacking it at the line, and the shot from distance is let go. That came off the stick of Henry Berger and right through the feet of Reese Sim, and missed, as both the power play and the penalty kill units will go for a change a minute into this Ty Timmins double minor. Jack Shearer coming off the bench for the Wolverines and picks it up. Max Kopech dumps that in, and it goes back to Berger at the close side point. Looking to go back down for Shearer. Instead, Kopech will get it back to Shearer at the close side half wall, up to Berger. At the line, looking for a shooting lane. That's off a body. The rebound came right in and just wide of the net. Shooting away at that was Jared Conlon. Shearer looking for Conlon down in the corner. Goes in one-on-one against the defender, Dylan Barry, and he is knocked down by Barry, and he will clear the zone. Is failing to hold the line as Berger and the Wolverines come all the way back, and a tired unit changes up, but they're caught. Here comes Shearer in, and he was looking for that high blocker, and it went wide. So close to being caught on the long second period change. The Cougars going to change all units at once and got very lucky that the Wolverines' leading scorer missed the net in all alone on Ryland Landry. As the puck comes on out again, still another minute 47 to go on this double minor. As is passed to the slot, the centering pass shot wide by Lateria. Came back out to Lucas Wyand. Wyand now, Jack Shearer looks for a shooting lane, and that is blocked. Avery Johnston knocks that aside, tried to clear it out the far side, but is held in by Halifax. Lucas Wyand on the blind side will dump it in. Nobody is home down the corner, and Vinny Sims has some time to clear it. Held it for a second, will try to get it out. And a second attempt, but it's lost as Felix McDonald gets a handle on it. McDonald gets it down, shooting at it. The player thought it was in. His hands were in the air. The referee blows it down. He's right on top of the net as it looked like Landry got enough of it to keep it out of the net. Looked a little bit like Liam Lateria was trying to sell it. Maybe get a goal call in his favor. I believe that was Lateria down low, taking that pass from Felix McDonald as puck is covered up again by Rylan Landry. We'll do the face-off over again. Wolverines with some excellent scoring chances on this most recent power play, the best of which was likely Jack Shearer's breakaway about a minute ago as the penalty killers were changing up on the long change for the Joneljim Cougars. As a rugby scrum forms over in the corner, 3-on-2. Halifax as Felix McDonald walks out of the corner. He likes to use that shot, and he tried to let it go, but he failed. As punching that out of the zone was Lachlan O'Neill, and he springs himself on the breakaway. O'Neill breaks in, it's over the net. It's a good back check there, possibly saving a goal was Lucas Wyand, and on the counterattack the other way come the Wolverines, and knocked down a big hit on Lateria. Denies a scoring chance for the Wolverines. And they almost came out loose as Taden Ye came out to play the puck right on top of the net. Some immense pressure from both teams. Luke McNeil was right on top of the net. He was slapping his pads and looking skyward after that one. Perhaps thought he was very close to making that 3-0 for the Cougars. Couple of shorthanded chances all of a sudden for Joneljim. They only have 22 seconds left to kill in this penalty, and this would be a huge penalty kill for them. As Shearer takes it into the zone for Halifax, is flung out front on the centering play there. Max Kopech was at the back door, and it's knocked aside, and so close was Zenon Parks to breaking that up and going on another short-handed breakaway for the Cougars, but it's a big kill for Joneljim as Ty Timmins steps out of the box, killing off a 4-minute penalty, and that is crucial here for the home team here as we close in on the midway point of this second period. It is shot down the ice. Dylan Barry will pick it up in front of his net. Up for Wyatt Wilson. Wilson picks it up at the scorekeeper's box and breaks in on the close side. Lets it go from distance. It's off the boards and wide. Making a play up the wall on the counterattack. It's a 2-on-1 now for Halifax. And gloving it again. Another big save from Rylan Landry. Denying Max Kopech from breaking the ice for the Wolverines. It was Kopech and Jack Shearer on that 2-on-1 there. Two players on this team you do not want to leave alone with the puck. They're two of their top scorers. But Rylan Landry closes the door on them again as he has been all evening. He has 15 saves in this hockey game thus far. Absolutely shutting the door on what is currently a high-octane Halifax Wolverines offense. The Cougars have a lot of home games coming up here in the second half of the season. They've only played 8 times at home. This is their 9th home game here in Cape Breton here this evening. They'll have lots throughout the rest of this month and February. As the Cougars break in, that was set up out front for Lachlan O'Neill, who was off the skate and went wide. Parks handles it down in the corner for the Cougars. Avery Johnston holds it along the boards, plays it down for Lachlan O'Neill, driving the net. Ty Timmins, pass missed, but back to Marty McLeod along the ice, sets off a skate and wide. Bounced over to Sam Graves on the far side. Graves likes to shimmy shake, he's doing a bit of it. That's off a skate in front, parked right there was O'Neill. Couldn't quite clean it up that time. Sam Graves still looking to make some plays. He spins forward and then back, makes the play down right off the bench. It's Kellen Buckley, but Buckley lost the puck and it is up the other way for Halifax. It was Fisher Schneer skating up for it, but he's at the end of a long shift, and the forwards for the Wolverines will change. But Ethan Marsh breaks into the zone, the close side, looking for Buckley in the centering pass, but he missed. And Harpel will take the puck. Looked like he took a stick up high, and we're going to get a whistle as he favored up toward his mask. We're going to see what the call is here. It's a head contact penalty, and it looks like the Cougars are going back to the penalty kill here after just killing a 4-minute double minor. Harpel stole the puck in the Wolverine zone, tried to skate back out the other way. He took a stick to the mask. I think the referees are just talking out to make sure they got the right call, make sure there wasn't any friendly fire or anything from a teammate's stick. They're going to go explain something to the Joneljim Cougars bench. The Cougars would be called on this penalty here. And now a player will head to the box from the home team. It's Vinny Sims that will go off as the Wolverines prepare to head back to the power play for the third time this evening. And Sims is actually heading back to his own bench. This time it's Zenon Parks who is going to the box. Zenon Parks is joined by Wyatt Wilson in the box for the Joneljim Cougars. And it appears we're going to get a 5-on-3 power play opportunity for the Halifax Wolverines. If that double minor opportunity there a few minutes ago wasn't a big enough opportunity for this Halifax Wolverines team, then this certainly is a full 2 minutes or less of 5-on-3 action here. I know for sure one of those penalties is head contact. Not 100% certain what the other one is for. We'll keep in tune with the in-house PA for that one. But it's going to be a 2-minute 5-on-3 nonetheless for the Wolverines. What an opportunity here for this team. Let's see what they do with it. A lot of hot potato with the puck to start this power play as it's played in down low for Shearer. Up for Reese Sim. Sim lets the shot go. It's off either a leg or a body and wide as it goes back down for Jack Shearer, who's playing the half wall on the far side. Out there with Wyan, and Shearer tried to throw the centering pass in the middle of the net. Kopech is parked there in the slot, and at the back door is Jared Conlon. And it's into the skates of Conlon. It's wide as Shearer gets to the puck first, but lost it immediately, and pinning that to the boards is Sam Graves in behind the net. But the Wolverines get it back. Wyan couldn't hold it, and almost jumping in to take advantage of that was Ty Timmons, an important penalty killer for this team, as walking into the zone is the Wolverines' big play. Rebound right on top of the net was Shearer, and another pair of crucial saves by Ryland Landry as the Cougars get it down the ice and get a successful change in. Lean it back the other way. Here comes Lucas Wyan. Wyan takes a body check at the red line. The Wolverines force it into the zone and get set up a little bit. Wyan, the big body on D, will force it in as Reese Sim walks in. Lets it go. Had an open net for a second, then back. Oh, what a block there. Braun blocked that one. Back to Sim. Another block by Linus Braun. He's been denying a lot of pucks, much like a goalie would there in the slot, preventing the Wolverines from getting it to his net. And it's a pad save and a beauty with the left skate of Ryland Landry. What a penalty kill effort here from the Cougars, and the crowd is loving it here in North Sydney, and that takes them down to 21 seconds on this 2-minute 5-on-3. Some excellent chances there for the Halifax Wolverines as the second unit will come on for the visitors. 8:18 left in this second period. Halifax still looking for their first goal of the hockey game as it goes back to Henry Berger at the point. Over to the far side for Jack Ripley. Gets it to the net, and that's just high. Good chance for Harpel. And behind the net, Felix McDonald playing it. Berger goes far side. Here's the shot. And the Ripley wrister was taken to the side. And it's a big hit up along the boards. Looked like a high one. It's going to be a head contact penalty. That one was thrown by a Cougars player. So although the 5-on-3 has just come to an end, Wilson and Parks have jumped out of the box. Sam Graves will go to the box for at least another 2 minutes here for the Cougars after they've had a lot of big penalty kills here in this period. First, a double minor that they killed off, and now a 2-minute 5-on-3. And they're going to have to kill off another double minor here, according to the board here. Strictly calling the head contact penalties here, and the Wolverines getting lots of strokes of luck here with the power play opportunities as they try to convert on one, but they can't find a way to solve Landry or the Cougars penalty killers as Ty Timmins deflects it out of the zone for Joneljim. It's brought in now. Max Kopech leading the zone entry as a Wolverines player goes down just as he crossed the Cougars blue line and is shot down 200 feet, and some tired Cougars penalty killers will head off the ice. Remember, this is a double minor penalty charged to the captain, Sam Graves. They rely on Graves a lot on this penalty kill, so losing him for that length of time is not easy for this team, but they're living up to the challenge here in the first 50 seconds of this most recent power play opportunity for the Halifax Wolverines as Kopech tries to get something going here for his team. Mishandling in the neutral zone has been leading to a lot of these turnovers. Is slowing them down as Jack Shearer tries to secure that zone entry for the Wolverines, but they still can't do it. They'll try again. Shearer finally takes it across the line and spins it off and slows the play down. He'll wait there on the close side half wall. He sees an opening, steps in, what a move! Tried to slip it through the wickets of Landry, but he shuts the door once again as coming in to bang away at that rebound is Lachlan McKay for the Wolverines. He slams it a couple times, but it's taken out of the play. And another big save there by Landry, who has been stopping everything this evening, will force a face-off to his left. Still another 2 minutes and 38 seconds left on this penalty to Sam Graves. The Cougars captain, he took a head contact penalty just here moments ago. Still in just over 6 minutes left in the second period here in North Sydney. The face-off is won back to Luke Williams. The shot, that was a centering pass actually out front for Lachlan McKay. He was parked in the slot. He's going to go over to the corner though to retrieve the puck. He's working in down low there with Leo Harpel. McKay helps him out, up for Felix McDonald at the top of the circle. Luke Williams, power play quarterback, goes for Felix McDonald. It's the number 4 play up there for McDonald. The give and go down below the line, but he fanned on the shot. Gauthier up at the line. He fanned on the passing attempt. So plays it down for McKay, and waiting down the corner is Harpel. Harpel looks up top and goes down for McDonald below the line. Now for Williams at the top of the circle. Backdoor scores! Felix McDonald, I believe, got that one. I think the players are checking to make sure the correct. There were no other tips or anything like that, but yes, it is Felix McDonald. That's his 20th goal of the season. And that's a big one here at this juncture of the game, as finally, after so many power play opportunities in this second period here for the Wolverines, they strike and cut the lead to 1 to make it 2-1 here. We're back to 5-on-5 action as it was in the second half of that penalty to Sam Graves. He had taken the double minor as Zenon Parks takes it down into the zone for the Cougars. Joneljim trying to come up with a quick response here. Halifax takes it back out. It is fluttered up down the middle for Parker. Stolen by Zenon Parks. So Parks walked in, but he mishandled it. Almost poked ahead there by his teammate Wilson. But the Cougars can't get a shot off on what was nearly a prime scoring opportunity. As Lateria takes it back in the other way for the Wolverines. He's helped out there by Austin Rutledge. It skips by Berger. And back to the far side blue line for Ripley. For Halifax, taking it back out on the backhand. Liam Lateria takes it in and spins around. He is knocked down to the ice there by Sims. And on the breakout out the other way, Linus Braun takes it out. We saw Braun blocking lots of shots on the last penalty kill there, denying lots of potential goals there, it seemed, for the Halifax Wolverines. As Sam Graves dumps it in, but looks like we're going to get an icing call or rather an offside call that appeared to be blown down by the linesman there. 4:31 left in this period. Moments ago, Felix McDonald scoring his 20th of the campaign for the Halifax Wolverines. He's third in the Nova Scotia Under-15 Major Hockey League in goals scored. He's only behind Bowen Cranston of the Gulls and Cohen Little of the Werewolf Bombers. And we just seen moments ago why he is scoring so many goals. When he gets opportunities like that, he does not miss, and he certainly didn't that time. Made it 2-1 for the Wolverines. Avery Johnston has both markers this evening for the Cougars, as Ty Timmins was looking to dump that into the zone, but instead flicked it a little too high and into the stands and into the seats here at Amera Center North Side. Face-off will come back toward the Cougars zone in the neutral zone along the blue line. The Wolverines dominating the majority of this game. The Cougars have had spurts of momentum, mostly during their power plays. They had 4 opportunities in the first period. But the Wolverines have really poured it on here this period. They've had 2 power plays for 4 minutes, and apart from those, had a 2-minute long 5-on-3. They didn't score on that 5-on-3 nor that first 4-minute opportunity, but on the most recent 4-minute opportunity, Felix McDonald found the back of the net to make the score where it is now. Face-off will be to the left of Danier in the Wolverines zone. Ty Timmins in to take the draw for the Cougars, but he loses it to his Wolverines counterpart as Shearer takes a check and bumps off it and rolls into the Cougar zone. Shearer pressured here heavily by Marty McLeod. McLeod is pinned along the boards there, helped out by Timmins as O'Neill tried to take it out in front of the net, but Max Kopech stripped him of the puck, and the Wolverines will set up. Down at the boards, Luke Williams plays it in out front for Shearer. Oh, what a save by Landry. It's not covered yet. Now it's blown dead as a melee ensues on top of Ryland Landry's crease. And somehow, once again, he denies Jack Shearer of finding the back of the net. He came absolutely diving out of the net and got his arm up on that one. That was an outstanding saves, his latest in a string of outstanding saves tonight between the pipes for Landry. You can see why he's such an important player for this Joneljim Cougars team. He has been nothing but battling all night in that goal crease for the home team and giving them a chance to win in this tough matchup here so far, and it is a tough matchup indeed that is still ongoing, hanging on to a 1-goal lead here in North Sydney this evening. The Cougars still up by a score of 2-1 as Landry is out in behind the net to play it. It's a delayed offside against Halifax, so the Wolverines have to retreat. Coming out of the zone, though, is Dixon, ensuring that zone entry for Zenon Parks and his teammates at forward for the Cougars. But it's quickly gotten on out once more by the Wolverines. They play back and forth here in the neutral zone. Halifax trying to punch it through, but Joneljim doing a good job at stopping them, just like Dylan Barry on the stick there. Ethan Marsh also broke up that pass as Jack Shearer will streak and lets it go, and another blocker save by Landry. Turns that aside. It's a counterattack the other way. Ethan Marsh has a leg up. Marsh trying to skate around Wyand, and Lucas Wyand, the big defender with the long reach, will knock that out of harm's way, but the Cougars tried to get something after that, but instead lost to the Wolverines, and Halifax sets up in Joneljim's zone. But it's gone back the other way. We have counterattack after counterattack here on the shift. A couple of minutes really without a whistle here. Lots of opportunities for both teams both ways. As taken in the zone now is Leo Harpel. Harpel joined up there by Lachlan McKay, the energy line of sorts for this Wolverines team. They've had lots of shots tonight. He's taking his time in behind the net and setting up was the Cougars. They still can't get it out of the zone, though, and they're going to lose it to Harpel. Harpel will wheel in along the close side boards, leaves it back for Felix McDonald, the goal scorer for Halifax this evening. broken up by Ripley. Ripley tried to play it up at the net to try and catch Landry off guard, but he will cover up there and force a whistle with a minute 39 remaining in what has been a really entertaining and eventful second period here in North Sydney. It began with a big penalty hill by the Wolverines, who were being a bit outplayed by the Cougars at that point early on. A few minutes later, though, the Cougars came back down with Avery Johnston scoring on a screenshot past Taden to make it 2-0 for a good chunk of the period. And after a Halifax 4-on-4, or 4-minute power play rather, not a 4-on-4, and then a 5-on-3 power play for a full 2 minutes. Halifax didn't score through those, but they got a second 4-minute power play opportunity with McDonald finally finding the back of the net to put the score where it is now. As walking in is Johnston. He's on hat-trick watch here as he has been looking absolutely lethal tonight. He only came into tonight's game with 4 goals and 8 points, but he's already scored twice tonight, and he still looks like a man on a mission with so much hockey still here left to play at the Amera Center. And that's a big hit. Looked to be behind. Ty Timmins threw that one for the Cougars, and the Wolverines are going to go back to the power play here with 49 seconds left in the second frame. Call came from the back official. Timmins will go to the box. And the Wolverines player is still down on the ice. You never want to see that kind of injury, especially when it originates from a check from behind. The referees tend to call these check from behind penalties at the minor hockey level pretty seriously, including for a major and a game misconduct. Don't know if that'll be the call here yet, as the trainers are out for the Halifax Wolverines to evaluate how hurt their player is. From the booth here, I can't see who it is. The player's skate is moving, but he is still down on the ice. The trainers get him to sit up. The officials are discussing with each other at the bench, as are the captains for each team. Sam Graves for the Cougars and Jared Conlon from the Wolverines is finally getting up and off the ice. The player who was down there was Liam Lateria. He's going to be helped off into the dressing room here. And it does not look good for Lateria. You really don't like to see that kind of thing. And I think that's a good indicator that Ty Timmins' night is over too for the Joneljim Cougars, as he'll head to the dressing room as well. And 5 minutes is listed on the board. It'll be a 5-minute major penalty and a game misconduct charge to Ty Timmins. Timmins, a big part of the game so far here tonight for the Cougars, the big centerman, will be sent out of the game. Lateria has also been buzzing here tonight for the Halifax Wolverines. Had a couple of really good scoring chances. Him and Lachlan McKay on that energy line, they call it, for the Wolverines. It's been making lots happen. The referees are just now explaining the situation to each of the benches. They were talking to the Cougars bench anyway. But the players will head out and get ready to set up for what will be another lengthy Wolverines power play. This is the third time in this period that they will go on the man advantage for at least 4 minutes. Already 2 double minor penalties called tonight against the Cougars. One of them was to Timmins. Now Timmins' night is over, as he was charged with the game misconduct along with the major penalty. The referees were just about to drop the puck, it looked like, but the Cougars' penalty box door is still open. And also a player has to come and serve the penalty for Timmins. I think that's what they're going to discuss over at the Cougars bench now. a referee and a linesman over there. Players are waiting down in the Joneljim zone. Only 49 seconds left in this period. It's both teams looking forward to the flood and the break. It'll be Wyatt Wilson going to the box here. He will serve the major penalty for Ty Timmins. And now the Wolverines, we've been saying this all period, it seems, a great opportunity to get on the board. They've had so many great opportunities this period in terms of man advantages, and now they will go on a 5-minute power play that will carry over into the third period, whether or not they score before the second period is up. As slashing the stick out of the hand there, looked like Sam Graves knocked the stick out of the hands of Jack Shearer. There's no call. The puck is played back to Reese Sim for the Wolverines. Max Kopech sets up for Halifax. Kopech skates out to the slot, was looking back door for Jared Conlon, as it is up and cleared out the other way by Wyand. 8 seconds left in the period. One last chance here. That was intended for Shearer, but it didn't touch him, and the Wolverines ice the puck. The faceoff will come back to the Wolverines zone with only 4.3 seconds left on the score clock here above center ice. Maybe a last-minute chance here, albeit shorthanded, for the Cougars to get a shot off and maybe score, as they will hang on to a 1-goal lead despite an antimonious second period here in North Sydney. Throwing a late hit there was Sam Graves, as the Cougars had a 2-0 lead here for much of the second period, but they have another 4 minutes and 12 seconds to kill on this most recent penalty, a 5-minute major penalty in a game misconduct charge to Ty Timmins for a check from behind that hurt Liam Letteria of the Halifax Wolverines and knocked him out of the game thus far. Although the Cougars were up 2-0, Felix McDonald scored late in the second to cut the lead to 2-1. And that is where we sit after 35 minutes of play here in North Sydney. Shots are 25-13 for the Wolverines. They're dominating this one, but thanks to some heroics from the goaltender Rylan Landry, Joneljim hanging on to a 1-goal lead after 2 periods of play here on the high button. We'll be back here in about 10 minutes after the flood in North Sydney. We'll see you then. And welcome back to the Americenter North Side here in North Sydney, Nova Scotia for the third period here in tonight's matchup between the Halifax Wolverines and the host Joneljim Cougars. The Cougars, the underdogs heading into this one, hanging on to a 1-goal lead here after 35 minutes of play, both coming off the stick of Avery Johnston, his 5th and 6th goals of the campaign. It was 2-0 Cougars for much of the second period, but later on, Felix McDonald burying his 20th of the season. Third best in Nova Scotia under 15 major hockey to cut the lead to 2-1, and that is where we stand as we enter the final frame of play. But the Wolverines have a great opportunity here to knot this one up. They have another 4 minutes and 12 seconds to play here on a major penalty taken by Ty Timmins of the Cougars late in the second period. It was a hit from behind, resulting in Liam Lateria of the Halifax Wolverines leaving the game. So the Wolverines have lots of time here to get set up. And once again, the Cougars, after a second period full of crucial penalty kills, both lengthy and short, many players, will have to go and do it again here if they want to pull off the upset here this evening. But thanks in much to the play especially of the goaltender Rylan Landry, who has stopped 24 pucks tonight, the Cougars are barely hanging on to the lead of this game. But it is certainly an entertaining one, and for sure we are in for another thrilling third period here in North Sydney as we get underway. The puck has been dropped. The Cougars, the home team, in the white jerseys to your left, and the Wolverines in the black uniforms to your right as Halifax takes it into the zone. That's Leo Harpel there on top of the puck. Out there with Lachlan McKay on this power play unit. Harpel goes down to retrieve the puck once more for the Wolverines. For Lucas Wyand. Wyand will circle to the very top of the slot. He's out there playing back and forth with Reese Sim. Wyand tried to get it through, but it's blocked by Johnston of the Cougars. Felix McDonald walks to the top of the slot and leaves it for Sim. Sim likes to let it fly, and that hit the side of the net after it hit a body in front. And there's a battle back in front and behind the net. It's kept in by Lucas Wyand. Kicked it over to Sim. Reese Sim tried to get it in deep for Harpel. McDonald in behind that net, battling at it with Harpel. Trying to make a play with it. Sam Graves, the penalty killer, out there for the Cougars. Reese Sim lets it through, and Graves blocks the shot and finally dumps it down. About a minute and 20 seconds of play had elapsed there with the Wolverines in the Cougar zone for that whole section to start off here the third period here. Still another 2 minutes and 37 seconds left on this Wolverines power play on the major penalty. Starting off with it beyond the net is Jack Ripley. Ripley begins the breakout, and that is up for Jack Shearer, the team's leading scorer. He has 30 points here this season. Looking for something here tonight to get on the score sheet. Shearer goes cross ice. That went to Harpel, and he scores! It was right up along the ice, and it beat Landry down low. He was fighting a screen, and Jack Ripley shot that one. Looks like he's going to be the one getting credit too. And the Wolverines at last tie it up. And they were really excited about that one. 2 gloves came off the hands of different players on the Wolverines bench as Ripley completed the flyby. Halifax working long and hard for that tying goal, and they finally get it. And not only that, they still have another 2 minutes and 5 seconds left here. Of course, no time expires when a goal is scored on a major penalty, which is the case here against the Cougars. as it is dumped down the length of the ice by Sam Graves. All the Cougars can do is kill off the rest of this one and get back to work. They had that great start, jumping to a 2-0 lead. But finally, the Wolverines have closed the gap, and we have a brand new hockey game here in North Sydney. As Shearer completes his own entry, but only for half a second. That is slapped down the ice by Luke McNeil. And the penalty killers will quickly shift up for Joneljim. As the goal scorer, Jack Ripley, intended to play it up for Reese Sim, his D partner here on the power play. It's a 3-2 setup here, 3 forwards, 2 defensemen for most of the evening here for the Wolverines. That was initially up for Max Kopech, but they ran into a trap in the neutral zone. So Halifax will try again. They got another minute and 8 seconds left on this 5-minute power play as Kopech plays it across on the entry over the backhand of Jack Shearer. Shearer will chuck it into the corner in pursuit of it. Jared Conlon is in a battle with the puck with Sam Graves, his captain counterpart from the other team, the Cougars, as Linus Braun jumps in to join the scrum. It's a 2-on-2, but Kopech comes out with it. Kopech takes a stick up high, and he is favoring his face heavily there. There's no call from either of the officials as the power play unit will change up for the Wolverines. And Kopech is not happy about that one, not happy about that call not being made, as he took a high stick right up under the mask there as he attempted to play that puck back. With 20 seconds left on this Wolverines power play, as storming down the ice is Felix McDonald. McDonald will loop in and go for a skate in for the wrap behind the net. McDonald will stop up at the close side half wall. Cross ice pass. Here's the shot, and that is just high and wide. An excellent look there for Reese Sim. Sim liking to shoot that puck, but missed that time. As finally Wyatt Wilson steps out of the box to end the lengthy penalty kill for his team, the Cougars, and we're back to 5-on-5 here, just under 5 minutes in the third period. Moments ago, Jack Ripley scoring on the power play for the Wolverines to knot it up at 2. As breaking in the zone is Zenon Parks, but his teammate is caught offside. So there will be a whistle and a face-off in front of the Halifax Wolverines bench. Shots are 26-13 right now. The Halifax Wolverines doubling the Cougars' shot total at this juncture in the game. As Joneljim wins the face-off. Lost in a player's feet, though. Breaking right back in with his Wyatt Wilson. Wilson cuts in, tried to go in low and fool Taden Ye between the legs, but Ye shut the door. And that is knocked back and out with it with a head of steam. With Fisher Schneier trying to go for a skate for the Wolverines. Luke Williams tried to play it back for his D partner Gauthier. Avery Gauthier trying to skate away from the forecheck. Gets it all the way up the center ice where Lachlan O'Neill broke it up, and his teammate Vinny Sims will dump it into the zone. Halifax on the breakout again. And it's broken up. This has gotten on out to the far side for Shearer. Shearer, toe drag. Tried to get over his shoulder. He scores off the water bottle. Oh, what a goal on the rebound. Jack Shearer, for the first time this evening, gives the Wolverines the lead. And that is the kind of player that Jack Shearer is, who doesn't quit, who finds a way to follow through. All night, Rhineland Landry had been denying him. Shearer's had a ton of grade A scoring opportunities. He had a breakaway in the second period on a power play on which he just barely missed the top corner. But that time he finally converts, his initial shot attempt being denied, but on the second opportunity would not be fooled as he takes out the water bottle of Rhineland Landry lying on top of the net. And the Halifax Wolverines take the lead for the first time this hockey game as Shearer enters the zone. He's out there with Kopech. Kopech tried to go up high, but he is well high of the net there as Jack Ripley keeps it into the zone for the Wolverines. The other goal scorer in this third period for Halifax. It was 2-1 after 2 periods, but 2 quick ones here in the first 5.5 minutes of the third frame for Halifax has given them the 3-2 advantage as the Cougars break into the zone. Lachlan O'Neill takes a hit after the shot attempt by Shearer. He was down for a second, but got back up to his feet and will head off the ice. Max Kopech dumps it back in the zone. He was pressured there by Dylan Barry of the Cougars, but he is at the end of a long shift and will go for a change. Dylan Barry will go for a skate, curls off to the right along the close side, but the play is called dead on an offside. Perhaps his teammate Ethan Marsh was a skip ahead of him. So the face-off will come toward the Wolverines penalty box here on the close side of your screen with 13:31 left in the third period here in North Sydney. Wolverines get it. Down for Lucas Wyand. Goes D to D. Up for Liam Lateria. Lateria, of course, we remember was hurt toward the end of the second period, so seeing him back out on the ice there is a really promising sign, a very good sight to see here this evening, as it was a scary looking hit from behind, as we remember, as Felix McDonald was set up there beautifully, but he fanned on the one-timer. He's looking for his second of the night here. He scored here in the second period to kick off this Wolverines comeback. Lucas Wyand retrieves it. Dumps it in. Lateria was first in pursuit. Pressure in the play for Felix McDonald, but McDonald lost the puck and the Cougars come out the other way. Avery Johnston, he has 2 goals tonight, tried to break in and he did get the shot off, but it was a big save by Tayden Ye. As it looked like the stick was caught in behind him, he was splitting the D for the Wolverines, but miraculously, he was still somehow almost able to beat the Wolverines netminder and was that close from tying the game and earning the hat trick, but was denied as the Cougars pour on some pressure. Some good forechecking going on here. This is dumped in the zone by Linus Braun. Zenon Parks is the first guy to the puck, but in there on the pinch too was Vinny Sims. Sims was relieved by his teammate Kellen Buckley, but instead Sims will start it back out for Parks. Parks in there tight is checked off the puck by Reese Sim, as it's played up by Halifax and out of the zone as the bouncing puck fooled Vinny Sims, the defender. It's up the boards, Zenon Parks looking for the one-touch pass to his teammate and will get it back again and goes to step around one guy and looking for the drop pass back to Linus Braun, but he was a good amount of distance in behind him and missed. Sam Graves will take it back in himself though, and that's caught in the feet of Conlon, the Wolverines captain. Lost it to Sam Graves, and it is dumped in after some entertaining action there in the neutral zone for a few seconds. A couple of big hits thrown there. Luke Williams going for a skate. He's going with a lot of speed there. Slows up a little bit, but will hit the brakes at the half wall. It's off a player, though, and will squirt to Lachlan O'Neill, who's trying to corral that bouncing puck. Gets it to his teammate Alex Boner, going in one-on-one. The shot, and that is right into the chest of Tayden Ye, who will cover up and force the face-off just to his left here. 10:56 remaining in the third period. The Wolverines pulling into the lead here in the third frame thanks to goals from Jack Ripley. Ripley scoring on the power play. And Jack Shearer, the leading scorer on this team. He has 31 points on the season. He headed into this game with his 30 points, 6 league-wide in scoring. 2 of the 3 Wolverines goals this evening coming on power plays, and they've had a lot of them. So many, in fact, that I've lost count. As Jack Shearer makes a nice play, handles it with one hand on the puck, doing a great job shielding the puck there as Max Kopech tries to find some daylight in the Cougars' end. He's going to handle it himself as his teammates went for a change. He's going to set up McKay, who couldn't get the shot off. He was pressured there closely by Graves and defended off the puck. Leo Harpel now joining him on the rush. 2 hard-hitting forwards for this Wolverines team is dumped in at the end of a long shift by Henry Berger. And Joneljim will try to take it back the other way. 10 minutes to go here in this third period. The Cougars looking for an answer to 3 unanswered Wolverines goals, and they might get it here as they go right up to the net. It's a delayed penalty. There's going to be a hooking call, I believe, coming to the Wolverines, and the Cougars will get a crucial third period power play coming up here in just a moment. Only 9:41 left in regulation. Looks like Leo Harpel will be the one going to the box to serve 2 minutes or less. And what an opportunity here for the Cougars to tie this thing up. Or at the very least, turn around the momentum as Kellen Buckley leads the power play unit for Joneljim. As the centerman, he wins the draw back to Linus Braun. It's out there with Sam Graves. Graves along the half wall. He's poked off it, and the puck ricochets up into the air. It's played by Shearer, but Shearer loses his stick. Kept in by Braun. Shearer is killing without a stick. That's shot toward the net. Over on the stick of Avery Johnston. Johnston has one power play goal here tonight, and another even strength. He has two. Braun was looking for Dylan Berry. Now had to leave it for Braun again. He had to really outstretch to keep that one in, and that skips over to Graves. Graves had an open net, but he went to shoot it as the net is knocked off. Play is still going here as Braun lets the shot go. Now Graves is looking for it. That's off a skate out front, and it skips down the ice. As right out of the net, the play that was Ryland Landry. He's trying to catch the Wolverines on the change. Sam Graves lets it go, and it's an easy glove save for Tayden Yeh, who will calm things down after a lot of chaos there in the first 51 seconds of that Cougars power play. Yeh had made a save in which the net was knocked off. The play kept going there. It was not blown down. You hear a couple players from the Wolverines bench. It sounded like calling for a stoppage of play, but now we'll get that stoppage of play with a face-off to the left of Yeh. Tie-up looks like off the draw. It squirts over to the board side wing. So Lachlan O'Neill plays it up for his teammates. And the second power play unit for the Cougars had settled it down, but an error was made there. Looked like off the stick of Marty McLeod. And they'll have to retreat all the way back to their own zone with 50 seconds remaining on this power play. Lachlan O'Neill going for a skate. Dumps in, will chase his own dump in, gets it to Zenon Parks. Parks looking cross ice for Marty McLeod, but he's more toward the center of the ice while the pass is going over toward the point, and he will come in offside. So we will get another drop of the puck in the neutral zone on the Wolverines side of the ice, closest to the penalty box side of the sheet. 30 seconds left in this hooking call to Leo Harpel of the Wolverines. Halifax looking for a big kill here. They've had a lot of big kills today, mostly in that first period, only holding the Cougars to one goal after the first period of play. It was 2-1 Joneljim after 2 periods of play. Now 3-2 for the Halifax Wolverines as they struck twice here in quick succession in the third period, as it was mishandled by Dylan Berry along the boards. And Joneljim has to retreat. 3 seconds left on the penalty. And Harpel will step out of the box. Successful penalty kill for the Wolverines. As the Cougars did get some looks, and they're not done yet, as that is shoved in toward the net. Luke McNeil left in behind the cage for Kellen Buckley, his teammate, but Buckley was behind the play, so McKay takes it the other way for Halifax. That skips up into the air, falls into the slot area somewhere as McKay makes a move to the backhand, leaves it, and a shot by McDonald out of nowhere. He let that fly from close range, but Ryland Landry really needing some quick reflexes there, and he knocks down the puck and makes a crucial save for the Cougars with 7:10 left in the hockey game. McDonald, as mentioned, has one goal here this evening. Almost had a second. He was that close. Always a dangerous scoring threat for the Wolverines as Lucas Wyan kept it in the zone. Leo Harpel poking at it. Almost got it out to McDonald again, who was waiting up by the hash marks, but it got away from him. Harpel at the half wall. Nice backhand flick over to McKay, but he was covered closely by Luke McNeil, playing some good defense for the Cougars. Going for a skate is Dylan Dixon, the defenseman for Joneljim, going for a skate. He lets the wrister on net. That is knocked off to the side by Tayden Yeh. Dixon headed for a second, but lost it in quick succession afterwards, as it is played up the ice by McKay, who got bumped after shooting the puck down the ice. And it is an icing call called against the Wolverines. Looked like a few Halifax players were on their way to the bench, but they will have to stay on, as is an icing call. 6:29 left in the game. The Wolverines just killing moments ago a big penalty to keep the score at 3-2. Ethan Marsh out to take this face-off. He's going to line up against Felix McDonald of the Halifax Wolverines. And Halifax will come out with it. And it is McDonald with the puck coming along the close side boards. Tries to sauce in a backhand intended for McKay. Cougars break it up. Tried to go the other way, but stolen by McDonald. McDonald to the slot. Tried to beat Landry through the screen and came in on the rebound. And he missed. Couple of great opportunities there. Felix McDonald trying to put it away for the Wolverines at this point in the game with only 6 minutes left to play here in the third period. That one is up off the glass, goes over to Linus Braun, who stopped it up in the neutral zone for the Cougars, but Max Kopech gets the puck. Kopech blows a tire, he goes down, loses it to Vinny Sims. Sims lost possession for a second, looking for Lachlan O'Neill up the boards, his teammate, and Kellen Buckley will snag the puck in the neutral zone, taking the zone with O'Neill throwing it on net. Buckley went right to the blue paint, but with lots of room to scoop it up is Tayden Ye, who makes the save. He's, after a couple of shots that he had let in earlier in the game that he perhaps wishes he would have wanted back, he's been near perfect since then, making some crucial saves for the Wolverines in the second half of this hockey game. In total tonight, he stopped 17 shots. Conlon dumps that into the Cougars' end, but he was on the wrong side of center ice. So the Wolverines are guilty of an icing call there. It'll come all the way back down to their zone. Of course, these teams meeting up again here tomorrow morning at 11:15 at the Amera Center Northside, North Sydney. Capping off the second of the weekend back-to-back between these teams. Up here in Cape Breton, Halifax making the 4-hour trip for this one. These teams' last games before the East Coast Ice Jam next week. Both teams begin their tournaments on Wednesday. As Max Kopech breaks in, it's a 2-on-1. Kopech trying to beat Landry on the short side, but he missed the net. He did not miss by much, though. The Wolverines will open their tournament against the Dartmouth Whalers, their Cross Harbor rivals in the Halifax area. They open the tournament. The Cougars will open their tournament later that day on Wednesday night. They will play the Mid-Isle Matrix from the PEI Under-15 Major Hockey League. As Jack Ripley lets that go through a crowd, almost found Fisher Schneer on the back door. As Avery Johnston knocked it out of the zone. Johnston, the only 2 goals for the Cougars tonight off of his stick. As Austin Rutledge picks up the puck for the Wolverines, but was late to it, so will slash it into the zone. Ethan Marsh couldn't pick up the clearing attempt from the Cougars, and there will be a whistle. There was a lot of vocal activity going on down toward the ice anyway. And it's going to be a too many men call. It looks like it's going to be against the Halifax Wolverines. It was called as Halifax had touched the puck. And now another big power play opportunity for the Joneljim Cougars late in this third period. A few minutes ago, they had a power play that they couldn't convert on. But they get another break here, looking for another chance to tie up this game. And they won the face-off. But the defenseman Linus Braun mishandled it. So Braun will have to back up all the way toward his own bench and his own blue line to start the breakout. Sam Graves knocks it down into the zone. First on the puck is Jared Conlon. Conlon is tripped up, loses the puck to the Cougars over the Linus Braun, manning the top of the slot. Crossways from Dylan Barry, intended for Sam Graves. Graves goes for a skate in behind the net. Graves looking at his options, sees in the far side circle, pad and the rebound. Oh, what a great chance there. It looked like Avery Johnston was right on top of it, and who else to score a goal at this point in the game would be Johnston, but he couldn't get all of the skate on it there as a Cougars player went down the corner. Someone was yelling for a call there. No call was made. Kellen Buckley out there on the power play, shoots, going up high on Taden Ye, but Ye was ready for it. Perfect positioning from the goaltender there as the Wolverines clear the zone and get a big change in. Still another 55 seconds left on this power play. Camped out by the line is Avery Johnston. He mishandled the pass, has to drop it back. Marty McLeod quarterbacking this second power play unit for Joneljim. McLeod tried to jump around the penalty killer Luke Williams, but Williams will shoot it down the length of the ice with 33 seconds left now on the most recent penalty to Halifax. 2.5 minutes remaining here in the third period with time ticking down on Joneljim. Breaking right up through the middle, Ethan Marsh saw some room and went for it, but he had to retreat to the corner and tried to fork it back to his defenseman, intended for Dylan Dixon, but it went between him and Marty McLeod. McLeod has to start again from his own zone. He takes a big hit in front of the Wolverines bench, and Joneljim has to go all the way back to their own end as Lateria steps out of the box for Halifax. Another big penalty kill here in the third period for the Wolverines. A huge one at that, as after a 30-second stint where the Cougars had some opportunities, they kept them almost completely out of the zone on the second half of that power play as Sam Graves dumps it in deep for the Cougars as we enter the final 100 seconds of regulation here. And possibly of the game, as skating right in, and it's going to be a call. Kellen Buckley would have been alone in on the breakaway as a stick came out from in behind him, but he was tripped up and the referee makes the call. So another late third period penalty charged to the Halifax Wolverines. That one going against Lucas Wyand. But in Wyand's shoes, he might have just saved the tying goal there in a lot of ways, tripping up Kellen Buckley. As a timeout is called by the Joneljim Cougars. The Cougars may have been asking for an argument on a penalty shot on that one, as Buckley was in all alone. But usually that argument comes down to possession and control of the puck, as Buckley was juggling it. As Joneljim will talk over their options here, as they will push to tie this game and force overtime here in North Sydney, and what has overall been a really strong effort from them as the underdogs in this matchup against the red-hot Halifax Wolverines, who are a minute and a half away from their 7th consecutive win. Dating all the way back to December 5th, they haven't lost a game in nearly a month. Avery Johnston with both the goals here so far tonight for the Cougars. But since then, it has been all Halifax. They scored 3 straight goals. Felix McDonald in the second period. An early one here in the third from Jack Ripley. And the go-ahead goal, as it stands right now, from Jack Shearer, their leading scorer, to make it 3-2, as it was dumped out of the zone here by the Wolverines to start off this power play, as struggling to get set up are the Cougars, as way out of his net to play that puck is Rhineland Landry, trying to play it up with time ticking down. We're in the final minute of play here in North Sydney, as going to the bench is Landry. They get the extra attacker on. It's dumped down the ice by the Wolverines. Remember, the Wolverines pretty much have free range to shoot at that puck, as the power play will last for the remainder of this hockey game, unless the Cougars can get that tying goal, as Sam Graves takes himself into the zone. 30 seconds left in the game. The referee took a tumble as him and Graves collided. A battle ensues behind the boards, and a Wolverines player takes a check behind the net. Braun tried to play it around over to Buckley. 16 seconds left. There's a player behind, down from the Wolverines. It's under the legs of Taden Ye, and finally the whistle goes as we have an injured Wolverines player in behind the net. There was a huge scrum that came together there about 20 seconds ago. It started with Sam Graves and even the referee there on the ice in that far corner taking a tumble down as the trainers come out for the Wolverines. Halifax on the injury front has had a tough looking game in terms of scary injuries or incidents at least like this. Liam Lateria went down at the end of the second period after taking a hit from Ty Timmins of the Cougars that resulted in a 5-minute major. There's a player still down here for the Wolverines on the ice now. Again, I didn't see who. Tough to see up here from the stands here in North Sydney. As he will be helped on up the ice here. It was Luke Williams who was taken down behind the net. Williams skating off under his own power. He's favoring his back. And he's going to head to the room. 11 seconds left on the clock here for the Cougars. Joneljim got a quick meeting in at their bench as they will make one final push to try and tie this thing. Coming right down to the wire here in North Sydney. Buckley on the face-off, and it was won by Shearer, but the back linesman will call for a reset after the puck was dropped. The officials will signal to reset the clock here above center ice. It was reading 11 seconds as our clock does here. Now says 10. Timekeeper will double check on that. Officials quickly confer with the benches on something, but will now go to drop the puck, and here we go. Last stand for the Cougars, dumped around the boards, and a big hit thrown there, but the Cougars can't secure possession. They get it now. Braun lets it go on net, off a skate, jamming at it. It's wide, and the Cougars in a nail biter that came down to the very last play, as you just saw. Hang on for the win, as a little bit of extracurricular activity going on in front of the net after a mad scrum ensued on that very last play. But the Wolverines score 3 straight in a come-from-behind victory to win their 7th straight game. They take down the Cougars here in North Sydney in the first half of this weekend, back-to-back, by a score of 3-2. And what a game it was. Felix McDonald scoring his 20th goal of the campaign. Jack Ripley and Jack Shearer with the other goals for the visiting Wolverines. And on the other side, Avery Johnston, a big game with 2 goals of his own. And a great performance as well by the home goaltender, Rylan Landry, who stopped 27 shots. Not easy shots by any means as well. But instead, it will be his opposing counterpart, Tayden Ye, taking the win in between the pipes for Halifax this evening. That'll be Ye's 7th win of the campaign for Halifax. And they'll try to do it again here in North Sydney against the Cougars as they will cap off their season series. Halifax improving to 2-0 on the year against their Cape Breton opponents from North Sydney, with the Wolverines pulling off a huge victory here at the Americenter North Side this evening. And you can come back for more action between these two teams tomorrow morning, bright and early at 11:15 here in North Sydney. For High Button Sports, my name is Luke Diamond. Thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast this evening, and we'll see you here in North Sydney tomorrow. But for now, good night from North Sydney.